are some coordination, issues here. So let me, give my personal input. Of course, I am ready, and we will, on a special note, we will invite all of you on one-to-one and personal basis as well, and we will conduct one more exclusive workshop for all 41 students again. And I will request Nimish to come, and if necessary, we can do little multiple, sessions also around this. Man, you can take it more as a teaser today, because I will bring my leadership and HR part, and then we will fine tune again, maybe an exclusive program once again. Does it sounds good? Okay, so I share my screen, and before that, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Pronob, and currently I'm based in Singapore, and today. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So shall
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
I think we shall start now.
Yeah. So I will come to you. I just thought to, share with everybody so that people know who am I. So my name is Pronob, and I am, supporting this cause of philanthropic approach for Kavita Ma'am and the College of Alkesh, Dinesh, Mody Institute in Mumbai. And of course, we are, emotionally very attached to this global mentorship program, and we have, come long way in last almost 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. Kavita ma'am is so nice, and at the same time, the entire management team of the college is equally very, I would say, participative and enthusiastic. Today, unfortunately, we have little bit of coordination issue, and I am really sorry for that. And but anyway, I am here to have this webinar today, and as I said, we will have once again to make it more impactful. Before that, Kavita ma'am, do you want to say something, or can I move forward?
Okay. So basically, I just do the formal invitation to the guest before we start the session.
Right.
Yes, sir, you have already told about your association with the Institute of Alkesh Dinesh Mody Institute for Financial and Management Studies. I just would like to say that the institute is very pride and privileged for having such association in the global mentorship program with career curators and the team of career curators. So far, we have organized 4 webinars together, 4 international webinars together. This is our 5th webinar, and again, it is Dubai-based, Singapore-based webinar. So, Alkesh Dinesh Mody Institute is getting very famous at Singapore. That is what we have understood during the time of lockdown. Just to give a brief about students, that the objective of this global mentorship program to enhance your competency so that you should have the maximum leverage for your final placement opportunities. And the international webinar which we as an institute organized in association with career curators was very systematic. Like from 16th October, the first webinar was based on your building an impactful profile, wherein we gave you an overview that how you need to create your profile and you should develop an elevator pitch. The second was about your LinkedIn brand, because LinkedIn is something wherein nowadays lots of recruitment are happening, if not physically, but somewhere the recruiters are very keen to understand what you are doing in terms of your professional LinkedIn profile. 21st October, we had our another webinar on crack and interview code, which was again very important, wherein MAFSIS Singapore team has joined us and gave you lots of insight. And 27th October, Mr. Abhinav Joshi spoke about ways of working in an evolving world. Today, our speaker, Mr. Pronob Chetia, is going to talk about the personal branding, which is again very important when you talks about creating a blue ocean strategy in the field of recruitment and getting a place where you may get the attraction of recruiters. Here, I invite sir to deliver his session. And I once again welcome on behalf of our institute and also in behalf of in association with Career Curators. Over to you, Pronob sir.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. I hope you can see my screen, right? So if you can somebody, just
Yes,
put.
sir. Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Yeah, very good, very good. So let me then quickly, probably tell little story about, myself so that you know who am I. As I said, I work for a company called Volvo and in Singapore. And at the same, just 1 second, huh? Just give me a second. Yeah. Sorry, my little son around. Yeah, so I am primarily from Assam, and of course, the picture says that I do love nice tea, right, and nice food. I am sure all of you as well. And now we work from home, and you with probably study from home, give you a good liberty as well to have nice food at home, which is of course probably one of the benefit of lockdown and work from home, study from home, and so forth. At the same time, as you know, we are in a connected world today, and it is so important that we stay connected digitally. And as an example, today, sitting here from Singapore, I am able to connect with all of you through Kavitaman, which is a fantastic opportunity, and this give an opportunity for you to connect with many people. And of course, nowadays webinar is very common, but at the same time, I would say that you should take opportunity to connect beyond webinar, including the LinkedIn network, and I'm going to talk a little more. And at the same time, I would say life is a journey. We always move forward. Continuous improvement mindset has to be part of our life. And there are certain problems do come in life. Sometimes problems are unintentional because of a busy schedule. At the same time, we need to be agile, and we need to take a step forward and move forward. At the same time, we need to have a very clear direction. And I think this is something good that you all are showing a very active learning process by one, participating in the global mentorship program, and also coming in a learning session like this today. So with this, let me move a little bit more towards the concept as such. And the concept starts, if you see from the personal branding point of view, all of us, including myself and you all, we all come with a certain spirits of life, or certain attitude of life. And of course, an attitude which is always a winning attitude, which we need to have. At the same time, it is very important that you keep on learning. So I would say that's a very good phrase. So I will talk a little bit about the three pillar today. And if you see here what is coming up in personal branding, people think that personal branding is more about marketing, more about a product, right? Where you sell a product in the market, people buy the product, meaning that there is a tangible valuation as far as the brand is concerned. And the answer is right. Example, of course, let's an example, Coke, Pepsi, LG, iPhone, Samsung. These are, very powerful brand. And along with the brand, there is a value associated, and you take a decision on that particular, value. At the same time, the question is, can this concept be applicable in our day-to-day life? Is this concept of personal branding is applicable in your placement process which is coming up? Is personal branding is important for your career development point of view? or is personal branding is something that people know you, saying, wow, example, I see, one individual, I think there are some people here. Let me admit them inside. I am a host, so I need to manage this little bit in between. So help me on that. So let's an example. We have Akshay Bhosle. Hi, Akshay. I see you in my screen. Are you around here? If you hear me, can you just probably use the chat button, or maybe I can go to Nikunj. Hi, Nikunj. Hello, Siddharth. A quick question to all of you. Have you, attended any personal branding training or program before? So if you have, can you use the chat button and help me with an yes or no? I put a here. Have you attended a session on personal branding? Yeah, now people are coming. So if you have attended, you can put yes. If you have not, you can put no, so that I know, at how I should, help you today. Do I understand that many of you probably have not attended this personal branding? Okay, very good. So I get a lot of at least 10 students saying you have not attended. So let me, go inside. And as I said, it is good. We are here to, I would say, help you guys. So of course you can connect with me in the personal, space in the LinkedIn. At the same time, we will also connect with you again on this particular subject. Now, what is personal branding? And I would say that the way I am practicing, me as a Pronob Chetia, I practice from the three pillars within the personal branding. Number one, what you see in the screen is your strength. Find your strength, which we will do some exercise today. The second is that uncover your brand values. What is your brand value? How do people want you to get recognized? And finally, how do you bring your stories alive? And of course, that is in LinkedIn. So if you see here, so let me start with the strength part. What is your strength? So my quick question to all of you is that if I ask a question, how many of you is aware of your strength? So can you use the chat button and say yes or no? So maybe I can make my question well. Are you aware of your strength? Yes, so Ankit say yes, Pranab says yes, yes. Very good, very good. So we see that probably you are aware of your strength, and maybe I will ask some of your strength as well. So let me put a second question. Are you aware of your values? Are you aware of your values? What is your core value? Have you discovered your core value? How your friends, how your professor, how your parent, know your core value. So can you identify one core value which is probably, I would say, correlate to the strength what you have? Now let me, talk about the, strength and the values a little bit. Now, strength is something, which probably, is more or less your skill, or, something that you use in your day-to-day, job where you have an outcome. Now, let's an example. What is my strength as an individual, as an HR person? So my strength is, interpersonal relationship. So I have a skill which is a good interpersonal relationship, because of which I have friends, because of which I have a healthy, working atmosphere with my colleagues, and that relationship really helped me. At the same time, what is my I would say values. And I would say that I can say that I have two values. One is simplicity, and probably second is also a little bit of love and care. I like to do things in a probably in a simple way, at the same time in a caring way, and so forth. So those are my values, and this is something very, very important for all of us to know. And that self-awareness is extremely important, and that's where you start your personal brand in a simple way. And then I will today talk about the brand values in terms of a concept called design thinking, that how do you use your design thinking to I would say upgrade your value system in your personality or in your society, and then you can take it to the when I say society, of course today during the COVID situation, of course you are very much digitally connected, and LinkedIn is helping you on that. So, what is very, very important to recognize that the truth is other have already, created a personal brand for you within seconds. So when you meet somebody, or when somebody meet you, or today when I am meeting you, you have, immediately made a impression about myself, right? Me as a Pronob Chetia. So similarly, when you go to an interview table, whether it is digital or whether it is face to face, people will have an impression about you within few seconds. Or when you go and meet a new neighbor, example, a neighbor has come next door, and you go and meet as a part of Diwali greetings coming up today. He or she, when he will see and talk to you, will have a certain impression, and that is something something keep a mark in the relationship, in the impression, and that's where your personal brand starts. Now that is the truth. Now sometimes people make a good impression, people sometimes make a bad impression, but generally human beings are always lovable. Human beings like to be in a comfort zone, and henceforth people are also flexible to take it forward. But at the same time, we have to be very careful when we take it forward. Now, what you see here is that today, when you go to the internet, world, internet is full of content on personal branding, meaning that you can do I would say, a short learning on YouTube. If you write personal branding, you can do self-learning. You can go to Coursera. You can, definitely do a course on personal branding. And I would recommend you to do that, because it is something that it is available, immediately available with you. At the same time, is it good enough to just do a learning program, and you feel that you have developed your brand? And my answer is not, because that's the awareness level you will have by attending a webinar or going to YouTube and learning, or to Coursera. And definitely I promote you to do that. But more importantly, it is you who have to consciously use your strength, discover your brand, practice all those brand values, which I will talk about today, and then make your brand strong in the society, in the interview table, with your friends, in your office, and so forth. And that is the building of personal brand, and that is definitely your responsibility. You can take charge of it, and I can take charge of me, and that is what I'm going to talk a little bit around this today. So as I said, your personal brand is also an impression when you meet. At the same time, this is a little mix of reality and perception. The reality is that when you meet an individual, he or she definitely will make a remark about yourself. At the same time, there are always certain perception you will get from the friends and neighbors, and that is where you will have a good experience. Sometimes your experience is a good, sometimes you don't have a good good experience. And that's how life is always mix of reality and perception. Sometimes you have real fact, sometimes these are assumption, these are sometimes probably fake news also. You get fake news, and finally you come forward and try to discover yourself, and sometimes you are in a panicking situation also, because sometimes perception become a threat to you as well. So it is very, very important that you use your experience and ensure that you have a right balance of realities of life, and at the same time manage this formula of reality and perception. Is that on real sorry on the reality part, you have and those are facts people know. And example, Virat Kohli. And then at the same time there are certain values, so people know you. Example, now I have a friend Robert have joined, or now we know Kavita ma'am. So we are working with Kavita ma'am for almost now 2 months. So Kavita ma'am more or less know me or know Robert. So those are something that we come closer a little bit more on the values part. And definitely the experience. So experience matter, because relationship is always based on activity based. So in fact, I also when I work, my boss always tell me, who is of course a business head, saying that when you want to bring an outcome, you need to have an activity based approach. Meaning that if there is a big problem, we need to cut into small pieces, we have to keep solving it. Or if you are having a big roadmap, you need to have a certain action plan. Similarly, in our life today, you are all going to get placed in next 6 months, and you have a action plan. And for that particular action plan is you are going to get placed in April, May, you are going to get a job. There is an action plan, and you need to have an activity on weekly basis, of course I would say daily basis. And all those experiences, when you will drive those activities, is a great learning. And that's how your professors, your friends, your mentors will also come to know about you. Are you really honest enough to drive that? And then you have a network. Now when I say network, it means that the network starts at your family, your brothers and sisters, your mom, your parents. You learn from them, and then you have a friend circle. And those are always very harmonious in nature, because it is more a relationship by birth. But when you come out to a little bit of uncomfortable zone, or which is called a gray zone. Assume that you have been posted from India, you go to US, and you are alone, and you have to develop your own network. And then that network development takes time, right? And then of course in a span of time you will develop your network. Let's an example, myself, when I came to Singapore, I would say 3 months back, I did not have any very good close friend. But today I am very very happy to say that I have around 15 very good friends, and I continuously learn from them. And I would say that the network is very powerful. We need to ensure that we have a right network, and that is also some sort of self-discipline we need to maintain to ensure that you are constantly learning from the network. And these are something brings you as far as the reality of life. On the other side, what happen on the perception part. Perceptions are sometime on sometime I personally also feel that it is little tricky to manage, because it also based on relationship. Sometimes the relationship is going good, which is fantastic to happen. Assume that there is a little difficulties in the relationship, there are certain misunderstanding, and people may drive this misunderstanding to create a wrong perception about you, and that you and me need to be very, very careful. At the same time, our own self, self-awareness level, self-worth, how do people want to know me, and that is also based on my behavior. So I would say that a lot of day-to-day behaviors, the way I meet friends, or do a good job in my cross-functional team in my company. Those are moments where people observe you, and that's where people may observe you based on a perception. Example, you are doing a live project, you have gone gone to a manager of a company where you are doing a live project, and you have planned a meeting and you want to have a conversation, and that experience will give a new I would say that conversation with the manager that you do not know will give a new experience for sure, and at the same time he or she will definitely make a mark on you. And that's why it is very, very important to be a little more balanced about the realities, which again I say about your strength, about your brand values, at the same time your day-to-day experiences. Good. I see Robert here. Hi Robert, are you around?
Yes, sir, I'm around and I'm listening to your brand.
Yeah, thank you. So I would probably take your, wisdom today to listen to your perspective about the brand. How do you, as a, a person, a company like Standard Chartered Bank? So I will come back to you. So please stay tuned. I just have a quick check.
Yeah, this is your way of ensuring that I am attending.
Yes, sure, sure. There are some sound difficulties here, but let me check. Yeah. So do I need a personal brand? The question is that do Virat Kohli need a personal brand? Do me need a personal brand? Do you need a personal brand? And this is something, to be honest, we don't think in our day-to-day life, because sometimes we feel that this is little technical, the brand is very marketing oriented. How does it, how does it help us? So I ask a question to you is that, do you, consciously think about yourself, how people should look you, what should be your brand value? And any comments? So, I am putting a question here. How do you, work on your personal brand? Any good example? Anybody working on this particular subject? And please be free to, use the chat button. At the same time, you can, unmute and share your personal practical experiences, and then I will take you through this concept as well. So be free, guys. It is our session. It is a learning session. I am, learning from all of you. And of course, I have the honor to probably ask some people as well. So I see Rohit said, hi, Rohit, are you around? There are two Rohit. One is, yeah, hi. So have you, thought about this subject before? What's your view around the personal brand? So far, you understood something, right? So what's your reflection?
So we need to create our own brand, own persona.
Right. And why it is important? why do you need to develop your own persona? So let me go to second Rohit. Hi, Rohit. We have another Rohit Suri, right? Hi, Rohit.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah. So why we need to develop our own persona in the society?
This like if we have a good reputation in the society, in our corporate world, in corporate life, then we get more opportunities so that we can capitalize on that.
Right, right. So it helps in your, career, right? This is what you are saying. Very good. So let me go to one more
Yeah.
person. We have Meghna. Hi, Meghna. Meghna Gaura. Do you think personal brand is important in your life? Okay, let me move forward. Maybe, you say yes. Okay, maybe you have some audio difficulty. Kalyani, hi Kalyani. Why you need to, create a right persona in the society? Okay, so let me not, put pressure on you and let me come to the concept why it is, very, very important. See, what is important is that, the trust is extremely important in our life. I am sure you will agree. And this, comes with a lot of efforts and time. Example, I meet someone and that individual don't trust me on the next day. Of course, some individual have a lot of guts, and they are big businessmen or very intellectual person that, he or she meets somebody and can take a decisions, but probably those are commercial decisions. At the same time, it is very, very important that, you take a, relationship where you can trust and also have a space for you to say something. And that is, I would call it as an authority also in our personal life, that you can have an open dialogue. And at the same time, in the corporate life, of course, if you have a personal brand, then you also come with some sort of moral authority. Of course, personal brand does not give you, a in writing authority or a legal authority, but definitely, some sort of, I would say, leadership trait, for you to, do your job or to make a bigger impact in your job and so forth. The second part is that today, whether you like or don't like, we are part of our, network, we are part of our media. So it is very, very, important that how we, position ourselves in the media. Now, the media is not necessarily TV or newspaper. It can be social media as well, like LinkedIn, you have Instagram, you have, you have Facebook. So, there are a lot of online presence, the digital presence, and it is very, very important that, our digital presence and the physical presence has a, balance. Of course, I know, people try to be very different in digital world and very different in personal world. And that is actually right, because in the digital place, you do not know, right, how many people come and see you. In personal face-to-face, at least, you are meeting 5 or 10 people. And that's why it is also very, very important that you need to take care of your personal brand. As I said, networking is a key pillar of our learning today, right? Of course, as I said, going to a college, getting a CGPA of 9 out of 10, right? Learning a lot of concept so that you have a, knowledge, which is, your, I would say, pillar of your life. But at the same time, we need to recognize that when we read a book or when we do a MBA in a certain college, you are within a control environment. And the world is so big and there are so many opportunities that you can learn beyond those, books, beyond the professor, beyond the college. And henceforth, the networking comes into the picture. And for your information today, for me also, networking is extremely important. I learned, from Kavita ma'am, I learned from, Robert, I learned from my official colleagues who are not in my, organizations, and so forth. So it is very, very important that you have a right network. And if you have a, right personal brand, in a simple way, you get the right network as well. Those who are going on an entrepreneurial journey, it may happen that many of you who are in this call today may have a dream to have a startup in next 1 or 2 years, right? And then if you want to start a startup or your business, or want to carry your family business to the next level, you definitely need to have a network. Sometimes you need to also have a network with the government agency, media agency, and many other agency, because your day-to-day job is connected, and henceforth it is very important that you showcase your right values, you showcase your right persona, so that people know who are you. You are a salesman, and of course, if you are a sales manager and going to sell a product, assume that you are a product manager of a company called Tata Motors, and you need to probably manage a B2B setup, and you need to sell probably 100 cars to a client, and that client is a probably a Zoom car, let's an example, or client may be an Ola. So you as a sales manager coming with a right personal brand as a marketing manager or a sales manager, if you have that brand, it will definitely help you to sell those 100 cars to Ola or a Zoom in a very I would say amicable way. Of course, you can give a lot of discount and sell to anybody, because nowadays discount is the easiest way to sell a product. But when you give a lot of discount, you don't have operating margin, you don't earn profitability. So for you to be a successful sales manager, you need to carry a certain persona, and that is the power of personal brand that it can bring to the table. At the same time, let's take an example. You take an example of I would say Apple, I'm sure you are very aware of Apple products. And Apple products, iPhone comes with a certain premium, because it really, carry a certain personal brand. So which means that, if your personal brand or if your brand value is very strong, you can also carry a certain premium. And in our life, in your life and in my life, this personal brand can be a core skill. Example today, if, in the techie world, if you are, very good in AI today, or probably you are very good in sensor technology, or probably in a financial market, you really know how to, do a valuation. And people know that you are a good valuator. People know that, you are a good, data scientist. Definitely you carry a premium, and that premium, help you to probably get a job with a higher salary in a simple way, or probably a better company or better role. So you see that, your personal brand has got a lot of, positive, opportunities in your life, all the way, a trustworthy relationship, your presence in the society, digitally or in person, having a right network so that you are continuously learning, at the same time having a good healthy relationship, also having a right set of clients, having a right skill set, where you can have a premium in your job market. And that's where I think personal brand is very, very important. And that's why I would say that digital presence today is coming also very, very important, because if you see the current COVID situation, the post-COVID, today, of course, we are during the COVID, there is, till now we have not seen the vaccine, and we of course pray to God. We also are looking forward, and we saw a lot of good innovation happening around the medication process or the social I would say ecosystem, which is really managing this current COVID in a meaningful way. So which means that we will definitely move to a digital era. The way we have done, or met somebody before in our personal life, we will meet somebody in a very different way in the future. And that's why I think, the LinkedIn come into the picture, where, you can, bring your personal story or a brand story in a good way. So before I talk a little bit about LinkedIn, may I probably put a questions to you? My simple question is that, are you active in LinkedIn? So if you are active in LinkedIn, you can say yes. If you are not, you can say no. So my question in the chat bar is that, are you active in LinkedIn? Yes, yes. Very good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, Robert.
Just a question. So while you're saying LinkedIn, is it a reason why you're not adding Instagram, Facebook, anything else or any other social platform?
Yeah, Robert, thank you. Good question. I would say that today in the social, media, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and all other, I would say platform are very relevant in our life, in a bigger cycle, I would say in our bigger cycle in terms of the digital media or digital space. I'm sure, I am very active in Facebook as well. However, today, if I see the audience, all are the MBA graduate who are, passing out, in next 6 months and going to a corporate job or starting a new business, I think LinkedIn is the space where professional part or your job, part is more relevant in LinkedIn. And recently, of course, we had a webinar around, this subject where, Aline has spoke about the importance of LinkedIn in a situation that, the recruitment, happen very actively in LinkedIn. Of course, some of the, I would say, senior level recruitment, people do look the account of your Facebook and, Instagram also before hiring you. This is the new, I would say, recruitment tools, because nowadays your information is all out. But at the graduate level, I'm sure that, through LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to probably meet 5 Roberts. So if I have a student here in the group, Arvin, so Arvin can, connect with 5 Roberts in LinkedIn. And by connecting with 5 Robert, Arvin can learn probably, financial market. He can learn, leadership. He can learn how to give interviews in a good way. And that's what LinkedIn give it to you. Because it is more in a professional domain. And of course, the Facebook and Instagram are part of our life to extend our, friendship and, the relationship and so forth. So I would say that as of today, the need of our is to focus on our final placement process coming up in the month of, February, March, April. I know in some of the business school process already started, probably interviews are being lined up already. And that's how I think LinkedIn is extremely important, that, that everybody managed in a good way. So did I answer in a right way, Robert? What's your view on this subject?
Look, I think because if I need to communicate my brand, I need to look at all avenues available for me to communicate to my prospective client, and resume, elevator pitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all a sum total of my experiences, which talk about my persona, which in effect reflects my brand. So all you need to do is maximize your opportunity, and that is where I think social media is one of our stronger channels to do that. So thank you so much, Pranab. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, of course, I fully agree because it is up to an individual. Of course, there is a lot of time. We need to invest in social media as well, and because from the time management point of view, we cannot go deep into Facebook and also on the other platform. And as I said that today, LinkedIn is used a little more on the job centric point of view. So I would say that these are some 5 tips, and then let me cover one by one. So in the LinkedIn, you have the options of getting recommendation or endorsement. And of course, LinkedIn has a lot of dynamics. It has got your contacts, it has got your profile, experience, your skill set, your likes in terms of certain skill set that you want to learn, and it has got a complete infrastructure by itself. And if you have done a good job as a student in a life project, or probably you have done a very good social project, help the society, probably it is a good idea to ask somebody to give you a endorsement on your communication skill, on your coordination skill, or you have done a social work where probably you have helped somebody on fundraising, and those recommendations and endorsements are very, very helpful for you to get shortlisted in somebody's mind. Not necessarily to get a job, also to have your own personal brand, because all this endorsement and recommendation stays back with you in your life, right? After 5 years you can come back and have a look, and more than anybody else, you will feel very happy, and that's also resonate your strength and your brand values. And I think the recommendation and endorsement is sometimes a concept of proof of your strength and your personal brand value, and that's why it is good to have testimonials, and it is also sometimes good to ask. So boys and girls, if you have done a great job, I would say go out, ask for recommendations, have the testimonials with you. The second is on your professional skills, in terms of, I would say, written communication skill. As you know, communication skill is super important, right? Presentation skill is super important. And in digital world, I would say that it is something new for you and for me. 1 year back, I was not that so active in Zoom like today, or webinar like today. And I am today, very comfortable because of course, thanks to COVID. And going forward, everybody, including you and me, need to have a new art of communications and presentation skill. And that's one space called, articles, where you can showcase your knowledge and skill set by writing a very relevant, article. Of course, I would say that article has to go well with your career, with your aspirations, with your brand values, with your strength. And that's one way to showcase yourself or your brand value to a bigger society, and that to the digital world. And I would recommend you to spend time. You don't need to write thousands of words. It can be simple article as well, because it is also a practice you need to have to be more, I would say, digitally inclined. Of course, if you are a good writer, you should write a newspaper, you should, write a blog, you should probably, help, your college, or, your network in terms of newsletter and so forth, because this is one medium where you are showcasing your knowledge and skill set. And that's, is an added point to your personal brand. If possible, it is great if you can, get exposure in TV channels, as well as, go beyond digital. But at the same time, we know that TV and channels are commercial in nature. But if you do extremely well, and if you get a, publicity in a bigger medium like TV channels, of course, it is a fantastic things to happen. So I would say dream big, don't shy away, don't think that, you cannot achieve something. You can always achieve, if you plan. And I would say dream big, work hard as well as party hard. And of course, you have to have a lot of fun in your life. And as you know, that public speaking, or in terms of the practicing part, is very, very important as far as the your network development is concerned. When I say practice, a practice of listening skills, practice of communication skill, practice of keeping a commitment, practice of many engagement opportunities that you can have. And I would say that these are something that you can go for it. And this is where I would say LinkedIn is one space. At the same time, I would say the world is open for you. And this is one tool or one concept that you can really work on it. Okay, these are some, I would say simple rule. Rule number one: people don't think how they feel. They don't say what they think, and they don't do what they say. The only way you will learn, this is the hard way, which means that you need to work hard. Of course, you need to be smart. Let's an example. You are, developing your goal has to be smart, which is a specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. At the same time, to achieve the goal, you have to work hard, right? You cannot do a very lazy job, because today's competitive world is tough. It is not that easy. And as you know, today we are in a global economy. Of course, COVID is pushing a lot of nationalism. But as far as your career is concerned, you need to look at global career. And that is, tough. And of course, you need to work hard for that. Rule number two, right? Brand building takes time and needs repeated exposure, right? And that's why I spoke about practice. Sometimes when you practice, you fail, but at the same time, you need to be calm and composed, learn from the mistake and move forward. You need to definitely have that exposure. So you need to move forward, right? Sometimes it is expensive, right? In terms of your time that you have given, in terms of money you have spent, probably, in terms of relationship as well. It is expensive because you need to reach as many people who might consider you, even if at that exact moment in time they are not ready to engage with you. Because sometimes what happened is that at that particular moment, it may happen that that they are probably not very interested on you, because he or she did not understand you. But if you put a consistent effort, let's take an example. In my role, I manage my APAC organizations, and then I take a new assignment to a new assignment, assume that is to promote a digital leadership in our organization. Now, the concept of digital leadership today is so niche, but at the same time I need to make effort. Some of the people will welcome me, some people may not, but I need to be consistent in moving forward. And doing that, it is very important that we are in a long game. We should not be short-sighted. We should not look at I would say sort out outcomes. We need to have a vision. We need to have a end goal in mind. And that reminds me with a book, and I would recommend all of you to read the book. That is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. When you read the book written by Stephen Covey, the first habit talks about start with the end in mind, which means that whenever you do something and you want to probably go somewhere, you need to have a long-term strategy. You need to know where you are going, and henceforth you need to be double sure that you are in a long game. Don't become very short-sighted. And of course results are important, but have a dream. And I would say that the rule of thumb, is that there are short-term activity and a long-term activity. So 60% long-term activity and a 40% short-term activity, because you cannot be always very, very visionary, because you need to have continuous improvement in your day-to-day life. So I would say the short-term activities are, has a rationale. You have a visibility. You can, change. You can bring, creativity. You can, do things differently, right? And you can bring result. And long-term, activities, I would say you need to have a trust on yourself. You need to have an emotional attachment. You need to have a, I would say sustainability in your mind, and that's where I think, you can make a right balance. So, a simple way, a formula, 60% long-term and 40% short-term. Short-term can be daily, weekly, and monthly. It depends upon the situation, that you are in. And this is a, I would say more a simple artifact in terms of the short term and long term. The short term, I would say, your alumni network, your colleagues, that you can always work for. And the future, is more about, assume that you are, going for a big company and you want to definitely work in that company for a longer period of time. You may need to develop a, relationship with the company. In terms of your relationship with the culture of the company, with the leadership team, moving into an unknown zone, but at the same time in a very systematic approach. Okay, so let me not talk little and another formula here. Maybe from the time point of view, I can come little bit on a brand pyramid here. Right. I have been talking about personal branding. I spoke about your strength. I spoke about your brand values. And the question here is that, can you have a brand pyramid, right? And this is a, example how a brand pyramid can be. However, the core element, what you see here is a structure, or it is an architecture of the brand pyramid. So let me quickly explain you. And you need to have a brand pyramid. And I would say that one of the exercise after this personal branding program is that you take a white paper, of course with a pen or pencil, draw this triangle, have these, layers, and start with the purpose, right, at the start. And that's why I spoke about, what is your purpose of life, right? What do you want to become? Sometimes what happens is that people do not know what is the purpose of life, because it is also an evaluation, because we are in a continuous development process, right? Sometimes we are in a chaotic situations. We are morning to evening, we are so busy, and we are always busy on a daily outcome. Sometimes we miss to think our future. How do I want to carry myself 10 years and 20 years down the line? And that is one exercise, the purpose of life. And this is the core values come here into the picture. The example of core values, as I said, that simplicity. Example, one of my core value is simplicity. So simply like that, there are many values you can bring to the table, or trust is a values, or you can bring, I would say, interpersonal relationship as a value. So you need to find out the values. The skills and strengths are very, very tangible. You can you can feel. Let's say an example, programming, valuations. You can probably build a house, or you can probably repair a car, or you are a mechanic, or you are a marketing manager, you can sell a product. So those are something which comes here. And credible element is more about the concept of proof. Now let's take an example. My concept of proof is that one of my value is to help people. Okay, when I say help people, my value is, probably to help young minds, students like you. And my purpose is that, I want to make a big contribution in the society by, helping young minds, so that the young minds, do things differently, which can be, of course, a great advantage from the society point of view. Now, what is the credible element for me? Credible element is that today I have been working for last 4 or 5 years consistently in developing, competences of students community, primarily, MBA colleges. So I work with NHRD. Today I'm working with, Kavita ma'am. And like that, I have been always busy in doing, many competence development for students. So I have probably touched around at least, 1,000 students in last 2-3 years. So this number that I have, cut across 1,000 students, I have done mentoring, I have conducted probably 4 or 5 webinars. Those statistics are the credible element, which is a concept of proof that, my purpose or one of my, vision of life is to help, young minds, so that the young minds grow, contribute in the society, and definitely that is a nation building activity. So this is, a simple, I would say, way of brand pyramid, and you need to have a brand pyramid, and this brand pyramid can change after 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year, because you will always, refine based on your successful, life story. Now, what I mean is that, next year you will get a job. After 3 years, after 2 years, you will get a promotion. So what will happen? You will develop your skill set, you will develop your strength, your credible elements will grow. Probably your values will become more stronger, your brand value will become more stronger in the society. So which means that, you will refine this brand pyramid. And at the same time, what happened? You need to write it down, keep it with you. Have a look every month, at least once in a month, and see, are you aligned to this? So maybe I can stop here on this brand pyramid now, and maybe I can take some questions if you have any questions for me. So any questions around brand pyramid? Have you seen this brand pyramid before? Am I connected?
Yes, sir. I have a question. Basically, I want to ask you that millennials are freshers, so they don't have that experience wherein they can decide, they can define their purpose, core values, skill and strength. Still, they should be able to find it out. But do you think is it difficult for millennials to understand about personal brand pyramid, or does it come after working some years in an industry? And then only they may start defining about it.
Yeah, as I said, the personal brand is all about consistency in presenting your, values, in, practicing your strength. Just 1 second, some call is coming. Yeah. See, as I told you, the brand pyramid is, also about, your consistency in practicing your values, right? Consistency in, using your, strength. Now, let's say an example. What is my value? The value is that, simplicity. Example, my friend Robert will scold me, but, I know he's my good friend. I will not be angry on him. And that my simplicity, takes my good relationship with Robert in a long way, right? Now, that is applicable for a student also, for a millennial also, because the brand pyramid is not about that you need to have, 10 years of experience, 20 years of experience, because, how one friend knows, another friend. Do I know, example, I have Siddharth, so he looks to be a very, and I feel that, when I see Siddharth in his, photo, I feel that he is an intelligent guy. So that's my perception. Now, within his network, how he, take his, this persona, it is completely up to, the millennial responsibility. And the fact is that, when you go to a, interview table, or when you are, networking with, many professionals today, this part is applicable definitely for the millennial as well. At the same time, I know that millennials are different, not like probably you and me. And in fact, I have been, reading a book about millennial as well. That's an example. Probably millennial like to have a flexible working system, meaning that probably they like to work from a cafe coffee day rather than working, every day in office. And maybe in the evening they need a flexible hour. They are fine to go out, work from cafe coffee day, and that is absolutely fine in today's corporate world. And so my point is that the world is also changing. Companies also know, what are some of the, likes and dislikes of, millennial. And that is also a learning opportunity for manager and leaders. But at the same time, it does not stop millennial to, practice the right values. Example, in my time when I was a student, my respect to professor was very high. And that was, my time. Today, how it is in the campus, I'm not sure, because it's changed. But I strongly believe that this respect, to a professor is not just a respect. You need to have this value to respect any individual. You need to respect your friend, your colleague, your manager, your professor. That has to be the the values, and that is the brand pyramid. That is the the personal brand we are talking about. The personal brand is not just what you see on a sticker of a Coke bottle. It is also the characteristics of the Coke. It's also the the tenure of Coke in the market. It's also about many things which probably we do not see.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think this is the best answer which you have given. As sir has already mentioned, the forum is open for questions. So, Robert, sir, we may take few questions. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a question on the Pranav, there is a question on the chat which says, can an individual strength and value be the same quality wise?
Yeah, so let's take like this. Of course, all of you can correct me. I'm also learning today. First thing first, all individuals are different in this world, right? I am different, you are different. Our, CGPA score can be the same, meaning my CGPA can be 9 out of 10. Your CGPA can be same 9 out of 10. If we go to an interview table, my communication skill can be 9 out of 10. Your communication skill can be 9 out of 10. So I would say that, of course, it can be same as far as, those tangible or a very, very, I would say, visual, skill sets are concerned. But the values are very intrinsic in nature. The values are, something that comes with us with a longer period of time. I cannot develop my value by attending a training program 10 days back, but I can develop my strength, or I can develop my skill set on Excel in last 10 days time, right? However, I can develop my values of, let's say an example, one of my value is integrity, right? I can develop my value of integrity probably in, 3 to 4 years time by practicing doing many things. So I would say that as far as value is concerned, it takes time. As far as strength and skill is concerned, you can develop yourself. And as far as the competition is concerned, I would say all individuals are, different, and probably comparison is not a good idea as well. Okay, any more questions? I think you agree. Yeah, you said that. Okay, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. Okay, any more questions? I know probably sometime you think what to ask, because the subject itself is little difficult. So let me take out this slide back. We are almost at the end of the session, so I want to share some interesting element here. Let me share my screen back again.
Please हमारी मदद कीजिए, बदले में आप जो करेंगे मैं करूँगा, जिंदगी भर
Sadanand, looks, you can mute. Yeah, very good. This concept, I'm not explaining today. However, I would request all of you to note it down in your piece of paper, your mobile, WhatsApp, or whatever it is. A concept of design thinking. And design thinking is something that you can, it is a tool, it is a, I would say, a technique you can use to, I would say, develop your personal brand. And it, it has certain, pillars. And primarily you call about ideate, then you have prototype, you have a test, you have an empathize, and you have a define. So this is a, a circle. Ideate is nothing but, you prioritize, you discuss, you go and meet, interview some individual, ask that individual, about you, you talk about your strength and values and let the individual give a comment on you. And then prototype is nothing but a mood board. You can, create a, nice PowerPoint presentations. You can bring some photos, some, all the values and all the strength, you can write it down. And then, you can test it. When I say test it, go to a professor, give a short mock interview, and then, get, refine yourself. And then, of course, you get ready for your final placement, and then make it is a continuous process, right? And that's how the brand pyramid comes into the picture. Also, I would say that use LinkedIn and contact 2 alumni of your college who are, probably your mentor. Develop a, long-term respectful relationship with those, 2 alumni or 2 mentor through LinkedIn, and take their help, go back to them and share your brand story, share your LinkedIn profile, share your resume. Ask, time for you to give a mock interview, and then take feedback and continuously refine your personal brand, refine your, brand. Example, he or she may give feedback to refine your LinkedIn profile. So make it, make continuous improvement as a part of your life. So what does it mean that, if I read I would say, wisdom from Albert Einstein, it talks about a continuous learning process. And this is how it is. You have to learn the rules of the game. Of course, today, your game, right? Whether it's a short-term game, a long-term game. We spoke about, short-term versus long-term. We spoke about 60-40, percentage ratio. So you need to understand the rules of the game. And then you have to play better than anyone else. Now assume that you are Virat Kohli. You are today playing cricket, right, on behalf of Bangalore team, or you are a great captain of Indian team and you are, going to a World Cup, and you need to understand the rules of the game before entering the ground. And so is you today in your professional career, that, what is your game, what are some of the key milestones in next 6 months to 12 months, and then you have to make your honest effort. So with that, I would say, this is all about a short personal branding, I would say, reflection or an input or webinar from my side. As I said, we will, call you back. I will bring Nimish again because of certain, I would say, difficult situation. He could not join. However, we can definitely, help you, provided, you like to join. We can do certain, mentoring as well on this particular concept because we really missed a good opportunity of Nimish coming and joining here. So as a summary, let me come back again. Number one, we spoke about the, your strength, your values, and that you bring, to life by a brand pyramid. We spoke about the brand pyramid. we spoke about your purpose of life. We spoke about your strength, your values. We spoke about your credentials at the bottom. And you need to write your brand pyramid, right, and go back to your mentor or your professor or your colleagues or your friends or probably your parents, discuss and see that whether your brand pyramid is very authentic or not. Make the pyramid very authentic. Okay, don't fake it, because then your right brand will not come forward, right? And finally, we spoke about bringing to life, meaning that I talked about LinkedIn more from the job market point of view. I know all of you are looking for a job or starting a career or starting a business, so it is good that you use the digital medium. And finally, I spoke about continuous improvement. I spoke about you need to know the rules of the game, and then you play the right strokes. And of course, you will be the winner, because I feel that every individual is very powerful. You are powerful. You are doing MBA. You are very fortunate today that you are doing MBA in a very good college. And then you have a great career coming forward, right? So Kavita ma'am, with this, I like to thank you to give opportunity to us to share our expertise. If you have any comments or any questions, I'm here, and I would request Robert also to join me to answer any specific questions at the end.
Sir, I think this was one of the again best session which we have heard of. I always believe that you are the strokeman. Even if your partner did not come, you have run the show, and you have not just run the show for the sake of running the show. In that you have given lots of values and insight which students really need to take it further and make sure that their career advanced accordingly. I think today's session was not only useful for millennials. In fact, the educators and the experts, professionals like us who are working in this domain since many years. As far as my thing goes, I had lots of learning things of today's session. In fact, when you were delivering the session, I was making my notes also. So your two quotes, which it's become one of the major learning for me. The one which you mentioned, that I never lose, I either win or learn. I think this is something which is high motivation, where we always say market is very competitive and you all have to win. So this is a big takeaway which every student should take it, that whenever you are in the rule of the game, you never get defeat. You either learn or you get win. These are only the two options. Then your whole perspective gets changed. And as you have seen, that personal brand pyramid was a new concept for all of us. So again, for marketing students, even if I'm a finance, HR, operations, this is something which is going to be a big learning from all of us. Albert Einstein, I have heard a lot. I have read a lot about him, but his quote I have got for the first time from you. So thank you so much for giving this wonderful quote to us. Today in this session, apart from the student of my institute, that is Alkesh Dinesh Mody Institute, we have student from Jai Hind College, Sterling Institute, and also from Pune Trinity College of Engineering. So I believe that your information has been disseminated not only in Mumbai, even out of Mumbai and different parts of it. Many students are asking about the recording of sessions. You will get the recording of sessions on Facebook of Change Etal, where you all people can visit Change Etal Facebook page and like. You will see all the recording which we have done it together in the past. Second, you will also see the recording of today's session on the official YouTube channel of ADMI. Those who have filled the feedback form, I will be sharing with all of you the link of today's recording, maybe by tomorrow evening. So stay tuned, keep updating yourself with the upcoming activity of Alkesh Dinesh Mody Institute. I once again thanks to Career Curators team for partnering with us and helping to give us this global mentorship program. This is from my end. With this, I think we are closing our today's program, and with this, we all are signing it off. Students may leave the group once they fill the feedback form.
Okay, all the best, guys, and please, be connected. We are here to help all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening and wish you all the very best in your placement season ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, every student who joined for today's webinar.